And now following us is Kate Smith from Google. And yes, we'd like to welcome her to talk about all things Google.
Oh my goodness, New York, I'm so excited to be here. I was gonna welcome you, but thank you for welcoming me. My name is Kate Smith. I am a customer experience program manager with Google Maps platform. And I've come and done talks here before with DevFest, here in New York and all over, but usually I have something a little bit more technical, but I always bring up the fact that I am first an opera singer by trade, now working for Google Maps platform. And usually it gets to this point in the talk and people are like already lost. They're like, wait a second. How does an artist now go to working for Google? And so when I was talking to Anna, I just decided maybe we should just have a conversation about that. Like, who doesn't want to work for Google? Anybody here who wants to work for Google? Can I show hands? Yeah. Who enjoys working with Google? I think that's why we're here. So I thought that we could kind of have a conversation about possible paths and build our way to working for Google. Just a thought. So let me just take you with me. I love a theme, so I'm going to take you to the Emerald City today. And with that comes a wand. We have a dream, all of us have a dream, and that's our Emerald City is, well, it's Google. We want to go and work with the wizard. I feel really excited and really privileged because I get to work with amazing people, and every day feels like a little bit of a mentorship, a little bit of creativity in the making. So today we're going to talk about how you can also get your way and pave your yellow brick road to Google. So, disclaimer though, first and foremost, all of the opinions and information that I offer you today are my own. This is not Google, this is nobody, this is Kate. I can tell you the path that I have taken to get to where I'm at and how I think a lot of this will hopefully help you get along your way. There's big things I would say about anything about trying to go and work for like one of the big 5 companies, right? We do have to have a level of credibility. So if you are coming from a place where you're transitioning, right? Do we have any career transitioners out there? Yes, I love it. Please, you can do this. We need you because you come with such a wealth of perspective. A lot of the times, developers have like a developer brain and they've been doing it forever, but sometimes coming from healthcare or being a server or running a bus comes with so much experience that we don't really see how it aligns up. And so please come, transition, but we do have to work on a bit of credibility to make sure that people know that we can fit in this industry. And then I would say presence is really powerful. I think Lee this morning talked about the way to communicate if you were able to catch her session on this same stage. The way that we communicate is very powerful. My background comes from an artistic background, so my presentations were usually trying to get people to feel things with me, right, and emote. And I think that there's this relatability, though, when we're trying to engage with people in this community, but also when it comes to, I'm developing a product, how am I going to bring it to a market, right? Because we need somebody to use it. That's how we're all getting paid. Lastly is a network. We'll kind of hint on that. I know our lovely women's panel were just discussing there at the very end about network, and we'll get there. Okay, so establishing your credibility. The word cred comes from Latin to mean like to be believed, right? So we have to have people believe in what we have, right? The first element, it's not just how do you have that knowledge, but like where did you get it, right? And the other is experience. Experience is the jobs that line you up to Google or how you're just gonna get to Google. And I've brought you, I put down the wand, but I've brought you magic today. So let's first start with accreditation. If you are not like a developer by trade. If you're not one of the many students in the audience, we love you. But there are people here that haven't had that experience, myself included. All of my degrees, I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in music performance and music business. And so when I came around and I decided I wanted to start to learn how to become a developer, a lot of that came with learning some coding languages and going and getting my own accreditation. I've listed some here. I think first and foremost, Google certificates are pretty cheap and easy, and there's a lot of resources out there now to kind of nail them down. Don't be scared. If an opera singer can do it, so can you. Go and get some. There's endless amounts if you want to do cloud, if you want to do things with ads. And I will also insert, and this is why it's my opinion and nobody else's, go and get certificates from competitors. Like, they're also very important to understand what other people have on the market, right? AWS, I'm whispering it, I gotta whisper it. AWS, Oracle, all of those other guys, they're not as good as Google, please don't fire me. Go and get those certificates. If you're looking for almost like the equivalent of like a GDE, for high school students, am I getting some nods of head that we know what a GDE is? Yeah, if you don't get like a high school diploma, right? You can wait, what? Oh, GED, sorry, I've been talking about developer experts all day. Thank you. The IEEE, I don't know how many E's I just said, but the lots of E's, thank you, is a professional software developer. It has like the equivalent of being like accredited, like getting a diploma, right? There's other things, there's courses, there's boot camps, there's all the things. This is a friend, a spirit that I met along the way in this journey. And because I do have kind of this little bit of, we're going on the yellow brick road. Carla has not only an Instagram, but I think a YouTube channel and the whole 9 yards. And she talks about how she made this career switch from singing Elphaba, I love this picture, of her singing Elphaba just down the street on Broadway, to now she is a software engineer at Spotify. So cool. You can do that too. And where did she start? She's all like, I didn't just jump into tens of $1,000 boot camp because I didn't know if this was really what I wanted to do. What did I do? I got online. I found the free resources. I attended these kind of networking events, and I collected the information as I went until I knew I was ready. Carla does go into her conversations about, she did attend then a boot camp. She went and worked, I think, 2 or 3 years at just a software, an ISV company, and now is there blending both worlds together. I think there isn't a better example. Maybe me. So the research shows that foundational knowledge, this is it, foundational knowledge of a subject gets us 68% of people will then see you as the thought leader in that topic. Sorry, that one just makes me laugh. That means every like 2/3 of people, right? 2 out of 3 are gonna look at you and be like, because you took like college geometry that one time, you know, you're now the expert. I think that this is very fitting because sometimes it kind of goes, I can't do this because I'm too afraid to start. I think that if you have even just this foundational knowledge, you will go farther. Not just I think, I know. So researchers at Harvard conducted a study saying that credibility was found with only 3 questions. You establish credibility in 3 foundational questions. Let's think about it. Last time that you were in an interview, nobody just randomly goes into like the most complex thing, right? You start at the beginning. If you can start to introduce 3 things, science has proven that we start to already believe you, okay? And this already shows that then 2/3 of people will also think that you're number one, you have the things to say. Okay, that might be a little much to take in. So maybe you're all like, I'm feeling like an imposter about this. I don't know, we talk about imposter syndrome a lot, but something I want to relate, or let's talk about just for a second, is I, as I've gotten older, have become slightly lactose intolerant. It's a bummer, but I have decided also start saving some money because everything is so expensive lately, right? So I started making my lattes at home, and I wanted to know what was gonna make the best latte, and it turned out to be, frankly, I think oat milk. Oat milk makes the best latte at home, and it's so good. And I was sitting there one day, and I was drinking it, and I was all like, oat milk isn't milk at all. It's not at all, yet it gets to market itself as a thing, right? And then I was sitting there also drinking my now much cheaper latte, maybe not quite as good. And I was going, I wonder how much oats are really in this oat milk. So I got online and I found out, and my favorite came from Oatly. So contacted Oatly, and they said, Oatly oat milk only contains 10% of oats. Okay, cool. But I mean, if oat milk was something that it's not even can label itself as oat milk, you too can label yourself as a developer. I'm just saying, be like the oat milk. You don't need that much. You do need credibility, but you don't have to have leagues and bounds. It is ridiculous to think that anybody that stands on this stage, including myself, is overly qualified. You too can stand on this stage, be like oat milk, okay? We're gonna go into our experience a little bit, and this is a little bit of the gift giving I wanted to get into. A couple of the questions. How am I gonna get it? A lot of people have come here and want jobs. Maybe we've been in layoff culture. Maybe we've had some of these experiences. How are we gonna get it? Is there better experience than others? And is there a way that that will lead me to Google? So the answer is yes, as shortly. So let's just start from home. Like I said, I'm not Google, but this is Google's career page. I'm sure you've all seen it. It's exciting, or not. Right now, there's roughly 180,000 full-time employees with Google. You've probably heard on the street, though, that it's much more, right? And we'll get into that, why there are so many more in different capacities. Right now, there's a little over 2,000 jobs open. I think maybe 700 of them are engineering jobs. And then you look at that at a global scale, and that means probably 0.00003, you have this chance of getting that job. And I don't want to sound like a big downer. It's just, it is a hard place to get into. It's been a hard place for myself to navigate. But there are ways to make you, I think, stand out stronger in your interviewing process, or practically work for Google without working for Google. Let me tell you what I mean. Let's start as far away as possible, and we're gonna work our way in. First is to go and work in the industry. Go and find something you love. You know, the Carla example, going from music as a performer now to a music platform, kind of makes sense. Anything that is a hobby, anything, we call these vertical markets. We have healthcare, we have transportation, we have hospitality, we have blah, blah, blah. Going and working in one of these places, or in an ISV, an independent software vendor, or, right? Anybody? Vendor? Whatever. They build their own software so that we can see how it works. There's lots of examples out there, but I think the things that work really well with this example between vertical markets and ISVs is one of them gives you the opportunity of learning how to go business to consumer, B2C, or business to business. You're gonna resell that same product to another person. This is invaluable information. Sometimes we don't know how to go and sell to the user. Coming from a place of industry experience, super strong. Next, I don't know if you've ever heard of Google G investments. Anybody? Google G. No? Blow your mind. Google invests their money into companies, right? They're very interested in seeing those companies succeed. Not only do they then take that interest, but they also have a relatability with these companies because they use a lot of Google products. This is me. You can find it even on their own site. They have so much interest. I hope I'm not in somebody's video. They have so much interest here. So this is me typing in, I'm interested in capital G places. You can find it. It'll open. All of a sudden, the 2,000 jobs that Google has now all of a sudden becomes 4,300 jobs. All different kinds of experience levels, skills, locations. This is all people that are receiving money from Google. You think that maybe Google would want to hire that person because they already work with them, they're already paying that person. This is invaluable, my opinion, right? But then you see all these names on the side. We have Databricks, we have Glassdoor. I mean, these are huge companies to go and work for that may not be exactly Google, but they are using Google products. They pay like Google. I'm just saying this is another way. So I did put this little QR code. Look, all the phones go up. They're like, ah, work, money. Fun, okay. All right, I think most people got it. 3, 2, 1. Next is the Google partners. Who's heard of a Google partner? Yay, some hands. There's people that probably haven't heard of a Google partner. Google partners are companies that work with Google that mostly provide solutions for customers, but they all are using Google products. They could be partners with other companies as well, but I would say most of the time, they're a lot of the time like 100% in with Google. So premier companies, premier partners are the top 3%, and they usually do a level of resell, they do solutions, they do services. And so you will still be working 100% with Google products, delivering a Google product, and you're working for a partner. There are 2 QR codes here. One is for cloud partner, a list, because there's hundreds of these companies, and then there's cloud partners, hundreds of them, right? So hopefully there we've upped our ante of how many jobs are available. And this is working hand in hand with Google. Lastly, now probably we've come the closest, yeah, we've been traveling down this road, is temp, vendor, and contract. There's so many definitions to this, but they either could be an internal or external employee. And these are a list of some of the vendors that supply agents to Google, right? I would look at those names, I would check their websites because they're always hiring. As I said previously, there's 180,000 full-time Googlers, right? But everything that I read on the internet says that there's really close to like 250,000 people working for Google. The other bit is coming from that host of people, if that makes sense, right? So there's a lot of jobs out there. You have now made it pretty dang, oh, I have a thing that says, please wrap up. So, oh, it skipped my slide. So an example of this path is we have investment banking, right? Into a real estate that had investments in telecommunications, going to a Google partner, Google Maps platform. Yes, this is my path. And this is what I gained along the way. I worked in investment banking for about 3 years. That's where I learned consulting, financial modeling, project management. And then I went into a real estate company for about 3 years. That's where I started coding because I didn't want to do what I was doing with investment banking anymore. SQL and Python, and then cloud migration. And then I went and worked for the person that we migrated to. So I went and worked with a Google partner, and it was the first place that I started doing my own cloud engineering and AI, started doing developer relations and marketing, communications. And then since I've been at Google Maps platform, it's been mind-boggling how much I've been able to get my hands on. And every day I feel so blessed and so privileged to be working where I get to. And I have such an amazing crew. Very quickly, because I feel like this is kind of wrapped up, I don't want to give you anything that's already been talked about, but just your presence, right? Presence has such an impact. The way we talk to one another, our body language, and I think, toss. I think that there's a lot here that not only did it come with the credibility, but it also came with the way that I was able to present myself in interviews. Wasn't always the best, but I was able to kind of communicate my ideas and communicate the ways that maybe my past would be such great aid to my future and for a company's future. Very quickly, I think that this wraps up in gravitas, which I think is a fancy word to say, and I always want to say 4-letter words on stages. Shucks. When the shit hits the fan, okay? How are you going to take it, you know? If somebody does something crazy, or if you're asked for an ask, your gravitas is your central. I think it's something that we all have to decide what that is for us and how we're going to react. Do not sleep on it and think that it's a soft skill. Oh, if anybody wants to hear me vomit, it will be calling anything a soft skill. They are so vital. I cannot tell you enough how many times I've sat in meetings with people that have great technical abilities and great hard skills, but soft skills will take you so far. And I'm a prime example of that because I feel like I might have come with that with things that needed to grow, but kind of in spades and needed hard skills. But I just think every skill is really important, and your presence and your communication is so important. Googliness, it is a part of the interview, and I'm still trying to find out what it is, but I think it is the it factor. I've asked Googlers, what's googliness? And they're all like, well, you're just doing, there you go, that's googliness. No, I think it's this level of friendliness. I think it's this level of working together. I think the fact that you're just here in this room listening to this crazy lady talk a little bit, I think already shows that probably most of you have googliness. If you feel like you need to improve it a little bit, I ask you today to just introduce yourself to one new person, because it makes such a difference. Very quickly, our studies show that 90% comes through our body language. This is the important part, because a lot of people after this are gonna ask me, hey, can you connect? Can you tell me all the things that you said again and whatever else, and then can you help me get a job? And the answer is, frankly, no. I can't do it because I don't have that leverage. I don't have that power. I wish I did. But the things that help me is I want to get to know you. So when I think of somebody and somebody comes and asks me, hey, do you know so-and-so? I need an engineer that knows how to blank. I can go, absolutely. This is a little bit of that pay it forward. That's the importance of networking. 80+% of jobs come through this networking power. It's not a small thing. It's not a small feat. I know that some of us are more shy, and that is beautiful. I'm not asking you to change yourself at all. I'm kind of a loud, big person. But sometimes the best partners I have in work are the people that just can bring in that sense of calm and really center us and have that balance. And I feel like we're looking out for one another, right? And if we're looking out for one another, I want to see them succeed, and I'm hoping that they want to see me succeed. 80+%. Get to know the people next to you. So we've made it. We've made it to the Emerald City. We can work with the wizard. And I think that you can do anything. Yeah! Thank you so much for your time. This is my LinkedIn, because I know everybody will come and find me later for it. Yeah, there's my LinkedIn. I'm happy to talk with as many of you as possible. Just give me a second, and it'll take me some time to connect with you, and we'll talk. But I want to be your friend. I want to be your Glinda the Good Witch that helps you find your way to the wizard. And I hope that you have a wonderful day.